What is up, YouTube? KM888 here, and I'm finally back with another video. I'm going to do a deck profile of my current deck at the moment. Yeah, it's just been a while. It's all because Linkcross got banned, so the ban list hit like a truck for me. The entire combo of my deck was, yeah, it wasn't as consistent. I didn't have as much follow-up. It wasn't as good, so I just threw that deck aside completely. Decided to go another route with Eldlich. I still think Eldlich is one of the best engines that you could ask for, especially when you're going to mid to late game, because you keep on grinding and just the pluses are insane. So yeah, except for that, I have a new camera, so bought a new phone finally after 5 years. Got some great setup, and I hope you guys like the new quality. I think it's better than before, but definitely tell me. Now for the deck. I am playing an Eldlich variant, but you guys haven't seen which one yet. It's Eldlich Zoo Dogmatika. So if you turn the words around, abbreviation Z, Zoo Eldlich Dogmatika, ZED. I really like the form of the deck, and I've been playing a couple of online tournaments already, been testing it like crazy, and it's actually working out, and I really like how it's playing. For me personally, it really fits my playstyle, and yeah, I just like it. So yeah, I'm gonna go into the deck. I'm going to be explaining a couple of things, just because of the fact that it's a new deck for me and for the people on my channel, and I really like to explain stuff. You all know that. So first things first, to Eldlich the Golden Lord. In this format, with Drytron running amok, there's a lot of graveyard disruption. DD Crow is getting played, Ally of Justice Cycle Reader is getting played, so they'll banish the Golden Lords. If you're going up against another Eldlich deck, they can banish your Golden Lords with Hakero, there's Call by the Grave, Skullmiser is in the format, so a lot of stuff to stop graveyards, and you just need two Golden Lords at that point. If one gets banished, the other one is still safe. One thing you need to watch out for when you're playing two is Ice Dragon's Prison. Because if you have one on the field and one in grave, they can Ice Dragon's Prison you and you lose both. And that's actually detrimental in a deck like this, so yeah. Next to the Golden Lords, I am playing triple Magician Souls. I still play this. I love this card. Like, Souls plus Eldland is already your entire setup that you need. Like, Eldland searches a Golden Land, Souls ditches the Eldland, gets you a draw, and then you get the free scent of the Golden Land from Cursed Eldland that gets you your Scarlet. It's crazy. It's just small things like that get your field set up, and I just love it. Also, Magician Souls works together with the other engines in the deck, like with Dogmatika, because the Dogmatikas are spellcasters, so you can send those for Magician Souls. And it also works together with the Zoo engine, because Stenki stays on the field after you search, so you can send one with Souls, you get an additional draw. It's crazy. Also for the Dogmatika engine, you can turn this into a Link monster, like either Linkaribo or the new one that you have to make with a level 4 or lower spellcaster. I have no clue what the name is. But it gives you a Link monster on field, an extra deck monster, so you can use your Ecclesia and go from there. It has so much synergy. Also, it will come up that this is a dark, so for later on in the deck profile. For the Dogmatika engine, I'm playing one Ecclesia. I think it's enough. You're playing the Dear Servants, which can also bring this back from the graveyard. Most of the time, if I go through one of the searchers for the Dogmatika engine, I see the entire engine immediately, so one time is enough. One Ecclesia, one Fleur, and one Maximus. In general, I don't summon the Maximus as much to use its effect, but sometimes I have to, and well, it's there for those moments. Most of the time, you can just send off of Souls or just keep it as an additional beater. This is also like really interesting. Like if you already have a Fleur in hand or something and you have the Ecclesia, you can search Maximus and push for game pretty easily, because this is already 3, 5, 7,000. So something small is already game. That's actually really fun. But yeah, like I said, this has a lot of synergy with the Souls. The Souls has a lot of synergy with the Eldlich stuff. It's just glue that puts everything together. So yeah. And then for the Zodiac, I'm going to put these aside for a second because I really want to explain these as much as I can. I'm not running such a big Zodiac engine because I feel like drawing too many zoos is bad for your hands. Like having two zoos is fine. You're playing one zoo. This turn you have one for follow-up. But as soon as you're seeing 3 or 4, or that's crazy. You don't want that. It's so bad. So I'm playing one Whiptail. Banishing stuff is so good this format. You can search this as kind of like a hand trap. If they have to think if they actually want to attack your Dryden, because if you Whiptail, your attack gets buffed. They'll lose their card because it gets banished. All stuff like that, and yeah, it's just way too good of a card. One Ram. The basic thing that I found with Zodiac is you always want to search it. Opening a Zodiac is fine. Any one is good. But if you have Tanky or Barrage, you're always picking the one that you're going to search. So I'm only playing one Ram. I'm playing one Bunny Blast. This one protects for traps that are targeting. This one is going to protect against spells that are targeting. And I'm also playing one Cataroost. I am positive that half the community doesn't even know this card exists. This one protects against monster effects, so I'm going to explain this. Like, the Whiptail is here for banishing. That's like generic. You can also summon it, attack with it, then equip it, attach it to a Zodiac and go for game, stuff like that. But then you have these three. In the current metagame, Impermanence doesn't really get played, so Ram loses a little bit of its touch. And it's only really good against Dogmatika Punishment and the Virtual World Chuchi. So that's really not a lot of cards that you're protecting from. Maybe like if you're up against a random PK build, you can protect against the Fogblade, but that's like really random. It still protects against Impermanence as well, so that's just as random in this scenario. Bunny Blast protects against Forbidden Chalice in case people are still playing that, and it also protects against the Virtual World Ching. Oh my god, those names are terrible. Like the Virtual World Continuous spell, because it can negate your Trident, and you don't want that, so you're putting Bunny Blast beneath it so you can protect the Trident. That's basically the reason why you're playing Bunny Blast, of course. Also against Sky Striker, this protects then against Afterburners and stuff, so it's really good. But that's only like 2 relevant cards like in the entire meta, just for Bunny Blast as well as for Ram. If you go look at Cataroost protects against monster effects at target. So if you put up a Trident going first and you're up against Eldlich, they can't use Golden Lord to get rid of the Trident. So yeah, that's already really good. And they don't want to attack Trident because the option of Whiptail is always there. So they have to watch out. So Cataroost protecting against Golden Lord is one thing. Then it also protects against Entis. If you're going up against the Dogmatika engine, they have Nadir's Servant to begin with. Your Trident is useless because they just sent Entis and they popped the Trident. So yeah, you're gone again. Nightmare Cerberus is a card that's been played in Drytron really often. So if you have Trident, you don't have to be putting it in the extra monster zone if you have Cataroost. You can put it in the main monster zone if you want, if you need it. Like if you have a Link Rebo, stuff like that. They're all options. So yeah, this thing is actually really good. Drytron late game is probably going to try and win with Natasha. If you have a Trident on field with this, they can't. You'll just negate the Natasha. If you have a Trident with 5 materials on this, you can negate it. It's so much fun. Like I don't think it's even once per turn, so I'm going to check. Yeah, it's not even once per turn, so if you have a Trident with 5 materials, including this, they can use Natasha 3 times and you'll just negate all 3, so yeah, I mean, that's so much fun to do. I think Cataroost is better than Bunny Blast anytime, and if I go first and I don't know what the opponent is playing, more than likely I'm actually going to search this if I can, so it's actually really good, and the stats aren't as bad as well because it's 800, 1200, which is like the middle ground for like all your Zodiacs. I don't play Thoroughblade. I think Thoroughblade is so bad at this point. If you use Thoroughblade's effect and it gets ogred, it gets gammat, you instantly lose because you don't have a Zodiac to protect your field, and that's just insane. So yeah, just those 4 Zodiacs together with the spells, that's 8 Zodiacs. That's a really good chance to see at least one. And then we're playing some hand traps. You might be thinking like, whoa, you're playing Zoo, you're playing Eldlich, you're playing Dogma. How the hell do you have room for hand traps? Well, we only play those things, and that's it. I'm not playing things like Book of Moon. I'm not maining Cosmic Cyclones. I think those cards are really good, but that's a different kind of build. That's more of a reactive build, and this is like a build that just stops your opponent dead flat. Every hand that you have is good because you either have hand traps or you have combo pieces, and that's all you need. So yeah, for hand traps, triple Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird is it might be weird to main deck, but I feel it's necessary. It's a necessary evil because Drytron is in the format. As long as Drytron is here with Ben 10 active, if you have 1 Droll and Lock, you win. If you're not playing against Drytron, this can still be turned into a Linkuriboh if need be. That's like, it's not a bad card in general. Like every deck searches like a couple of times. So like even against dinosaurs, if they use Extravagance, you draw and lock there. They can't use the Animadorant Archosaur to search for the pill, so you don't have an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno to be worried about at that point. It's so good. So yeah, I mean, just such a good card. Triple Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. This card is probably the doubt spot in the deck because I'm like switching it over with Skullmeisters like every day, but I do like them. They stop cards that try to banish your Golden Lord, which is always fine, and it also stops Call by the Grave on your own hand trap. So I've had it that I use Roll and Lock against Drytron. They use Call by the Grave, and I still have the Ghost Bell. Stuff like that actually protects. It really protects your plays at that point, so Ghost Bell is really good. I'd never take it out. Like if I don't main it, I'd still side it in this format. So yeah. And then the final hand traps of the deck, double Ash Blossom. I feel Ash Blossom is still a really generic card, which is good, but it's losing a little bit in power because all of the decks are playing through an Ash Blossom, and opening 2 Ash Blossoms would just be detrimental. And like, if you want to see one of the others and then maybe 1 Ash, it doesn't always have to be there. So 1 hand trap might actually be enough in a lot of situations. So these are the hand traps, and I'm actually liking it like this. It's 8 hand traps. It's actually a decent chance to see one. It's like the same chance as seeing a Zodiac. So that's great. Then for spell cards, and as I said, I'm only playing the combos. I'm only playing combo pieces. Triple Cursed Eldland. This starts up your Eldlich engine. Triple Nadir Servant. This starts up your Dogma engine. Triple Tinky and 1 Barrage. This starts up your Zoo engine. That's it for spells. 10 traps, nice and 10 spells, nice and flat. It's so easy. Like if you see a spell, your one of your engines has begun. It's as easy as that. It's really good to play it like that. I don't feel like I'm missing out on something. Like I'm not playing Droplet. I'm not playing Tactical Talents. Those are all situational cards, and you rather keep the cards in your hand for your own plays. So yeah, if you want to stop Drytron, just open the Draw and Lock, open a hand trap, go from there. The terrible thing about Droplet is, sure, you can have it, but if you let their play go through, like, sure, you can negate the Vanity's Ruler, you can negate the Herald of Ultimateness, they still have double Herald of Orange Light in their hand and an Eva, so they're going to be having 2 monster negates. What are you going to do? You're not going... The best you can do then is open a Zoo. Remember, you've already ditched 3 cards to negate the 2 on their field, so... you have the Droplet and the 2 cards that you use as cost. That's 3 cards less in your hand, so now you only have 3 cards. You're going to summon the Zoo, you're going to make the Borbo attack directly, then you're going to put on top every single Zodiac card that you have, because you have to play around the double Herald of Orange Light. At that point you have a Zeus, So this one with 6 materials underneath, and that way you can actually outplay the double Herald of Orange Light. But because if you only have 2, they're just going to negate both your effects. You can't have that, so you have to make Zeus with 6 materials, and you go Zeus effect, they go Herald of Orange Light, you'll chain your second Zeus, and they won't even negate it anymore because, well, at that point they know you have a second one, and the Zeus is already going to be destroyed. So they're going to keep the additional Herald of Orange Light at hand, and you only have 2 cards left to play. I'm not. I really don't like that. Like, even if you have droplets, it's terrible. Like, at that point, Dark Ruler No More would actually be better. But yeah, I don't know. It's nothing for me, I guess. For traps, also really easy. Triple Scarlet Sanguine, this just gives you your Golden Lord. I just love the card to death. If you see this with Magician's Souls, you can pitch this as cost, and then chain this to the Souls so you get your Golden Land before you draw. Just the small things to get, maybe give you a better card. Triple Conquistador, double Hakero. I know 3 Hakero is really standard right now. But for the life of me, I couldn't get the third one in the deck. I play enough cards that should help me for banishing cards in the graveyard. I don't think playing the third is so... Like, not playing the third is so bad, but in general, I would like the third to be in the deck. But I just don't find the space, and I want to keep it nice flat at 40. I think it's good. I think it's decent. I think it helps. Most of the time, if I open the Cursed Eldland, I'm going to search for Hakero these days, because with Trident and the Dogmatika Punishment, I already have pops, so I can already destroy stuff. Having the Hakero is just a different kind of interruption, so that could actually help. So yeah. That's it for the Eldlich trap cards. Then we have 1 Dogmatika Punishment for your Dogma engine, and I'm main decking the Shaddoll Schism. I've noticed that if you go up against Drytron, against Virtual Worlds, like, if they can't out it, the Winda is game. It's as simple as that. Winda is so powerful. And it's 1 brick in the deck like the Shaddoll Schism. If you open it, it sucks if you don't have a Dark, if you don't open your Dogma engine, because... like, not having the Shaddoll really can really hurt you, but this is the only brick in the entire deck. So, and I don't even mind it. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. 40 cards. It does seem like a lot more, but that's because I've double sleeved everything for protection. Like I said, I really love this. It's working like a train. For extra deck, pretty easily, the Zodiacs, 1 Borbo, 1 Hammer Kong, 1 Tiger Mortar. I'd love to play 2 of this, but just because of the fact that I'm playing Zoo Dogma Eldlich, I need more. I need more room. 15 is too little. Konami, please give us an extra deck to 20. It's crazy. I also don't want to play 2 Tiger Mortar over the Hammer Kong, because I did explain, like, in the situation where you have to go up against Drytron and they have ultimateness with perfection, you need to be able to make a Zeus with 6 material in some scenarios, just to play around the double Herald. It's a thing that happens a lot, because they search for the Herald of Orange Lights, but they don't have an ultimateness or something on the field, so you have to do it like that. Double Shakanine. This card is just mandatory at 2. More than often, like turn 1, I use Hammer Kong, Shakanine, Trident. So I need 1 more Shakanine in the extra deck for the next play. You always want the second Shakanine. The 1 Trident, sad this thing is still at 1, though I don't guess it matters. So yeah. And then the final exceed is the Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. This card is just a nut. Is the entire reason why Zodiac is still a thing right now. So yeah, that's it for the exceeds. That's 7 exceeds. For fusions, Titanic Lad, the Ash Dragon. This card is bonkers. If you open Punishment, you can send this and then start your entire Dogma engine that way as well. Else, like, dumping this from the Dear Servants, the most common play. Maximus dumping this, like, it's crazy. One thing you can do, Zeus has a secondary effect that a lot of people don't know. If another card on your field is destroyed by battle or by your opponent's card effect, you can attach anything from your deck, hand, or extra deck to this card as a material. Okay, I attached Titanic Lad to Zeus. Later on in the turn, Zeus effect, you send the Ash Dragon to the graveyard, end phase, Ash Dragon will trigger and you get a free Ecclesia. That's crazy. You can do so many things. So we have the Ash Dragon, Elder Entity Entis. What do I have to say? Like, I'm only playing one copy because of extra deck space, but such a crazy card. Like, with Dogmatika Punishment, it gets a pop too. Maximus is always there, like, if you need to. Turns into a pop as well. Shenanigans, man, shenanigans. El Shaddoll App Clone and El Shaddoll Winda for the Shaddoll play. This is lovely. This can just win you the game, which is crazy. So yeah. One Synchro Monster in Cyframe Lord Omega, and then we have the entire Dogma package here. This is just for recycling. Happens so much that I have to recycle the Entis. But I don't like that's what it's for. So really good. Also, you can make this with any golden land and a hand trap, like a Ghost Girl. So that's always a thing. And then for the final 3 cards in the extra deck, I'm playing one Linkery Bow. As I said before, if you have Magician Souls, you can turn it into this, so you have an extra deck monster on field for your Dogmatika engine. Then Nightmare Phoenix. You need Phoenix because sometimes you have to get your Eldlich off the field to use its graveyard effect for the OTK. For having 3,500 attack. Phoenix is the most generic one, gives you a possible spell and trap pop. It's exactly what you need. And then the final card in the extra deck, Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This card is the nuts. It wins against certain matchups on its own. It saves you in a lot of scenarios. I made it against Drytron once because, like main phase 2. Like main phase 2 I made it against Drytron because I knew they can't target it with Natasha. And that way I wouldn't lose next turn. They still made access code to run this over. But then it was just an access code talker, and in my turn I had game, so yeah, just making this main phase 2 so I couldn't get OTK was actually a really good play. Against Sky Striker or Altergeist, this card is like GG on its own. Yeah, such a good card, I mean, why not, right? And then I'm guessing the sauce of the deck, like Secret Spice, the side deck. Nah, it's actually really simple. Triple Skullmeister, the card is nuts in this format. As I said before, I often switch against Ghost Bells and Skullmeister in main and side, just because the card is so good. Triple Ally of Justice Cycle Reader, you need this card against Drytron. In the Eldlich Mirror match, this card is really good. So those are two decks of the format, so why wouldn't you? Like, it's crazy. And this is probably Secret Spice, like one Nail Shaddoll Ariel. The reason I'm playing this card is actually really weird. If you have the Shaddoll engine in the extra deck, like the App Cologne, App Cologne's effect is if it gets sent to the graveyard, you can search for any Shaddoll card and then discard a card. So imagine you're playing against Eldlich. There's an Eldlich in the graveyard. There's some Golden Lords in the graveyard. Golden Lands in the graveyard. You can just go, okay. The Dear Servant, send Shaddoll App Cologne effect, search for Ariel, dump Ariel, banish 3 cards in your graveyard. If you banish a Lord and 2 Golden Lands, that's just game against that deck. That's like, they're not gonna recover from that. They have to wait for like 2 more turns to get their entire engine set up again. And by then you have amassed so much advantage that they can't get over it. Like the one Ariel is actually really good. Also against Drytron, if you go first and you open the Dogmatika engine, you can go Ecclesia, search for punishment, and then in their turn, you flip the punishment, send the App Cologne from your extra deck to the graveyard, use App Cologne's effect, trigger Ariel, and banish 3. So you get a pop and 3 banishes with just 1 punishment at that point. It seems weird to do, playing the 1 brick at that point, but sometimes you're like, the Shaddoll Schism gets outed, you hard draw it. Like if you draw either one of these, you have both. So just because of of how it works with the App Cologne. I still think this is actually fine to play at 1. So yeah, that's actually really good. Side deck. So it's here. This goes to the main. Next up, triple Cosmic Cyclone, 1 red reboot. The reasoning behind this is I didn't want to play more for back row decks. But if you're playing against a back row deck going second, and you see one of these, most of the time you'll be getting through with a Zeus. So if you summon a Zodiac, and you go into Borbo, you try to attack directly, and then you're going to stack and try to go into Zeus to blow up their field. If they have a trap to stop you, most of the time, like if you're playing against Eldlich, like Cosmic Cyclones are what you need to stop the Conquistador. If you have Red Reboot, you can just stop everything. Harpy's Feather Duster is nice as a card, but it destroys everything. And what are you going to do with the Zeus at that point? What's the Zeus for? I'd rather have the quick play capabilities of the Cosmic Cyclone and the Red Reboot that counters like everything. I think this is the ideal setup if you're playing Zodiac. So yeah, maybe I have to play like the Harpy's Feather Duster as a 5th card. But I don't feel like this deck is having so much trouble with back row. And on top of that, what decks are there in the format that play so much back row? So yeah, I mean, it doesn't even matter. I think 3 Cosmics and a Red Reboot is definitely enough. And then I guess 4 more cards, some more sauce for going first. I just hate it, like getting Lightning Storm. You have to put everything in attack these days because if Drytron goes for the bird, you need to be able to pop it. Like it needs to be gone, and so you have to put everything in attack so they can't attack into your monsters. And if they Lightning Storm, then the Trident is gone, the Ecclesia is gone, everything's just gone. And I don't like Lightning Storm. It also gets rid of the back row from Eldlich. Then there's things like triple Tactical Talents if you're playing Trident. That you have to use it somewhere. There you go, okay, Tactics, steal the Trident, put another Zoo over it, attack, make Zeus. Fuck, okay, yeah. Stuff like that actually loses you the game. So for going first, triple Anti-Spell and Order. Against Virtual World, this also turns off the continuous spell that stops your Trident, so that's an additional plus. It makes sure Extravagance, Pot of Desire, stuff like that can't be used. If they have Droplet, they have to chain it to Anti-Spell. Against Order, it just flat out fails because you chain Order to the Droplet. As long as they don't discard a trap, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's just well. Against Drytron, it's really funny because they can't Ritual Summon. So it stops an entire part of the deck. No Preparation of Rites, no Drytron Meteonis, I think the card's called. No Cyber Emergencies, no pre-prep if they play it. So the Ultimateness isn't coming on the board, and they are, to get rid of it, they are probably going to try and make a Nightmare Phoenix, but you're going to be able to stop that way before with things like Trident, Punishment, stuff like that. And then since you have Golden Lord, you can get rid of this on your own turn if need be. So yeah, that's it for the side deck. I hope you guys liked it. This can change, like vary for whatever locals you're being part of. But in general, yeah, I mean, I really like the deck. It gives a lot of options. It's actually really good. It's really consistent. I just love it. And I hope you guys like that too. So It's a real simple deck. See your engines, try to beat down and win. So yeah, hope you guys liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao!